Hello guys, welcome back, and today we're going to do a refresh of a rather popular video last season. That was a surprise for me, but talking about how to gear efficiently. Just want to make sure that you guys are on the right track. Don't waste any time, don't have to backtrack, don't miss anything, most importantly. We'll try and keep this short and sweet. So to set this all up right, there's a number of things you want to do the moment you load into the game, or if you haven't done them now, go do these now, which is first of all, start the seasonal quest chain. This is really important because not only does it give you access to the witch powers, which are disgustingly OP. Actually, for me, I don't think I was using any actual barbarian skills until like level 30. They are very, very, very strong. But also, while you have started that quest chain, you'll be able to earn Coven's favor, which is a reputation grind that will give you periodically very, very nice gifts. You'll get these caches of materials, of gear, of boss summoning materials. Basically, all of the stuff that you're going to need for the rest of the game, you'll be getting it in buckets while doing the head rotten offense, which are definitely going to be a big part of this journey. The next thing that you're going to want to be doing as well is getting over to the mercenary den. You can bring up the UI for that by pressing Shift M, head over there and pick your mercenaries. Which ones you pick, entirely down to your class and or preference, but you want to make sure that you have at least one hired and one reinforcement. And the reason for that is because these guys also have their own reputation or levels, or whatever way you want to look at it. And again, periodically you will be given caches which can contain specific things like weapons and gold, and the pale marks which can be used at the barter or the barterer, or however you would say that, in the den for, again, specific deterministic items. You can get aspects, boss summoning materials, crafting materials, you name it, is pretty much there available for you to get. And these can both be done passively from the beginning of the game, so make sure that you've set those up. The next thing, this is more of an active thing that you'll be doing, but this is your season journey. So the way that you're going to want to do this is pretty much as you unlock it, and providing that you can. Sometimes you'll get to a point where you'll need to gear up a little bit first, because this will take you quite far into the end game. You're going to want to be looking at these specific challenges and picking the ones that you feel that appeal the most to you. There is no real best answer to this. And to be fair, a number of these you'll do by accident. You'll, go to number 2 and realize you've already done half of them. Pick the ones that you like the idea of doing. If you don't like doing the Hell Tides, then maybe try and avoid those ones, because you don't have to do all of them. As you can see here, you only have to do, I think this is 10 or 9 out of 11. It doesn't say, I wish it did. But you don't have to do all of them. You just have to hit this notch here and it will give you the rewards. But you have that freedom to pick the ones that you want to do. And they've done a really good job with the season journey this time around. The pacing felt very good, and it introduces you into a bunch of the game systems at a really good timing. I feel like they kind of got that timing of when you want to go do these things nailed pretty well with the season journey this time around. And the rewards are extremely potent. Lots of gear, lots of materials. You also get a pet, and you even get your first resplendent spark from this as well. You can get a resplendent spark from this when you finish it off as well, which will go a ways to crafting your first uber unique. Now, while you're not doing a season journey, your default mode should be the seasonal content. You're going to want to be doing that quest chain, and then after that, just grinding the headhunts as your baseline mode. You will be absolutely swimming in gear in this headhunt. It is ridiculously powerful, and just some general rules of thumb to follow while going throughout this entire process to make sure you're getting the most out of your playtime. Flask up, make sure you're using incenses. A lot of these rewards will include herbs, and you'll get a ton from the headhunts themselves, making it easier than ever to have your consumables up at all times. Also, carry a stash of Whispering Keys. This had a nice buff this season. The Whispering Caches are actually well worth going out of the way to open in the headhunt, so do try and grab some of those from the Orbital Fender when you're in town. You won't regret it. And then for the headhunts themselves, couldn't be more simple. They're just whispers. You go around doing the challenges around the map and then hand in the whispers once you've done enough. Now, I would recommend doing is making your way to every head rotten cocoon event. These are, if you don't know it, these are the big bright orange bull sacks on the mini map. The amount of loot you're going to get from these is insane, absolutely off the charts, and usually these events will piggyback off of one another. So one person will proc one, that will finish, another one will start, and you could just sit there farming like a madman. So definitely get yourself over to those. And after doing this for maybe like 4, 5, 6 hours, for most people, will start to get you quite close to the maximum level. And as you're getting to that point, this is when you may want to start looking at investing in your gear. I should have said this earlier, but what I would say for most people is to not agonize too much over your gear until you get to roughly around level 60. It's just not worth the materials. You'll be replacing it far too quickly to make that worthwhile. But once you do get to this point, this is where you probably will want to sit down, take a look at a build guide if you need one. Mobalytics, great place for those. If you're wondering, great place for build guides. I'll leave some links down in the description below for the build that you see in the video, but also you can go to our tier list and check out the builds for every class if you don't happen to play Barb. I mean, if you don't play, I'm not going to get into that. If you don't play Barb, it's fine. Okay, it's fine. But this is the point where you're going to want to start making sure that your build is locked in, because once you get to level 60, your first goal is to get into Torment 4. Now, it is hard, but at the same time, it's the easiest it's been. So as long as your build is pretty locked in, as soon as you hit level 60 and you get like your first Paragon board and you get those points and you pop them in, you should be about strong enough to do that. Honestly, like, we are very, very strong this season, so it's not too hard post 60 to jump straight into Torment 4. And once you're there, and if you can, I mean, if you have to use these items before to get strong enough to get to World Tier 4, then do. But if you can, try and save your Tributes of Ascendance and Radiance for Undercity. Try and save those. And also try and save your ladder boss, your Uber boss summoning materials for Torment 4, because you get more value from these items in this Torment. But like I said, if you have to use them to get here, use them. Don't hold on to them and struggle. You know, really is not doom or gloom if you have to, but save them for Torment 4, and then that will help you get the best bang for your buck. And now you're at this point, you're basically, well, you are at Endgame actually, and this is where things get a little dynamic, because there's a number of things you could do for a number of reasons. If you've saved your tributes, one great thing to do is to jump straight into tribute farming in Undercity. You can get basically everything from here. You can get boss summoning materials. You can get it's probably the best source of ancestral legendaries. It's a fantastic source of uniques and uber uniques, and also crafting materials. Things like Obusite for masterworking. Again, probably the best source for that as well. Hordes are a great source of just general stuff. You get a lot of gear and a lot of crafting materials, but the investment, like the time commitment per run, is probably the highest out of all other content. So it's the one thing there. You're gonna have to make sure you have 15 minutes free when you go into one. Otherwise, if you don't finish it, you don't get the rewards, which is something to bear in mind. Then you have the ladder bosses, and this is even more variable because which ones you want to do will highly depend on your class and what build you're playing. It's not like in the previous seasons where Doriel and Andariel were the bee's knees. For now, it's really just, it could be any one of them. For the Barb, for example, it's the Beast in Ice and Lord Seer are the only ones that we want to do. Then you have, of course, the pits. The pinnacle content in the game, I mean, you can grind it up to about pit 100 to max out your glyphs. Now, glyphs are an insane, absolutely insane source of player power, so you will want to get these up. I would say at minimum, at least make them legendary. Level 46 will give you a huge power boost, but you can go all the way up to level 100. And at that point, you're really only doing pit for the sake of doing the pit at a higher tier. But, you can push your glyph levels in here to a very, very high level and get lots of power as a result of that. But, as for gear, for materials, it's really not the ideal place for that kind of stuff. So when it comes to this point, I'm afraid there is no straight answer. You really have to take a look at what you need in that given time. If you need materials to summon bosses, Tributes of the Titan are a great source of that, or even go back to do the Head Rotten stuff, because that is a huge source of materials, very good source of stuff like that. If you haven't finished your season journey or the reputation grind for the seasonal stuff as well, that's also one thing to make sure you tick off. But if you need uniques, of course, you need to look at ladder bosses. And then finally, you know, if you want to craft, then again, tributes perhaps, or even hordes might be where you want to go for that kind of stuff. As for other types of content that you might want to consider doing, Lilith is definitely one. You can get a resplendent spark from killing her for the first time. So if you do need a newbie unique, that is one way you can get an extra resplendent spark to craft one. As for things like the Hell Tides, Nightmare Dungeons, and PvP, I mean, they're fun for their own reasons, but there is no specific reason to do them. So unless you just like doing them, I couldn't really think of a reason why you would. And that just about wraps up the video. If there's anything important that you think people should be remembering to do as they level, please share it down in the comments below. I'll pin any useful comments up at the top there for everybody. As always, you know, don't forget to like the video, maybe subscribe for more general guides, especially, but if you like Barb guides, you definitely couldn't go wrong with a little sub-a-doodle-doo there. But thanks for watching. Much love. Catch you on the next one. Bye.